there is a silent force stealing your future. It doesn't shout. It doesn't fight. It simply whispers, just one more minute. And before you realize it, minutes become hours, hours become days, and days become a life that never reached its potential. This is the price of distraction. Distraction does not arrive as an enemy. It comes disguised as comfort, as entertainment, as something harmless that you believe you deserve after a long day. It does not demand your life all at once. It simply asks for a few moments, just a few seconds more, just one more scroll, just one more delay, and that is how it begins. You do not feel the loss immediately. There is no alarm, no warning, no visible damage. Life continues as normal. You laugh, you relax, you tell yourself you will start tomorrow. But time, unlike you, does not wait. It moves forward with perfect discipline while you remain still. Days pass quietly, weeks disappear unnoticed, months slip through your hands like grains of sand. And one day you pause and something feels heavy in your chest. A quiet realization begins to form. Where did the time go? Because distraction never announces its cost up front. It collects slowly, silently, patiently. It takes the hours you are meant to build. It takes the energy you are meant to invest. It takes the focus you are meant to invest. It takes the focus you are meant to protect. And in return, it gives you nothing but temporary comfort and permanent loss. There is something deeply spiritual about time. It is not just a resource, it is a trust, a gift placed in your hands, moment by moment. And every second you are given is an opportunity to move closer to your purpose or drift further away from it. You were not created to live unconsciously. You were not given life to spend it in endless distraction. There is a responsibility attached to your existence. Every hour you waste is an hour you will never be able to answer for again. Imagine standing one day, reflecting on your life, and realizing that the dreams placed in your heart were never pursued, not because you lacked ability, but because you were too distracted to act, that the potential within you remained untouched, not due to hardship, but due to delay. That feeling, that deep unspoken regret, is far heavier than any effort you are trying to avoid today. Distraction numbs you in the present, but it awakens pain in the future. It convinces you that there is always more time. But time is not promised. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Each passing moment is a question. What are you doing with what you've been given? And the truth is difficult to accept. Every time you choose distraction, you are choosing to delay your purpose. You are choosing to silence the voice inside you that is calling you to grow. You are choosing to ignore the responsibility that has been placed upon you. You are choosing comfort over meaning. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin to lose connection with who you were meant to become. Because greatness is not lost in a single moment. It is lost in thousands of small moments where you chose distraction instead of discipline. Moments that seemed insignificant at the time, but together they form a pattern that shapes your life. And that is how years are lost. Not through one big mistake, but through countless small distractions that felt harmless in the moment but carried a hidden cost far greater than you were willing to see. Your life does not move by chance. It moves by attention. Whatever you consistently focus on begins to shape your thoughts, your decisions, your actions, and ultimately your destiny. It is not luck that determines where you end up. It is the direction of your mind, because the mind is like a compass, and focus is what sets its direction. If your attention is scattered, your life becomes scattered. If your attention is weak, your results become weak. But when your attention is clear, steady, and intentional, your life begins to align with purpose. Most people underestimate this truth. They believe success is built on big moments, big opportunities, or sudden breakthroughs. But in reality, it is built quietly, through what you give your attention to every single day, what you watch, what you think about, what you repeat in your mind. All of it is shaping your path. If your attention is constantly pulled toward distractions, negativity, comparison, and temporary pleasures, then your life will slowly begin to reflect those same patterns. Confusion, delay, dissatisfaction. Confusion, delay, dissatisfaction. But if your attention is directed toward growth, discipline, purpose, and meaningful action, something powerful begins to happen. Your decisions become sharper. Your time becomes more valuable. Your energy becomes focused on things that actually move you forward. And slowly your life begins to change direction. There is also a deeper layer to this one that touches the soul. Where your attention goes, your heart follows. And where your heart goes, your life follows. If your focus is consumed by what is empty, your inner state becomes empty. If your focus is guided toward what is meaningful, your inner state becomes strong. You were given the ability to choose your focus. And with that choice comes responsibility. Because every moment you are either directing your life or allowing it to drift. Think about this. If you continue focusing on the same things you do today, where will your life be in a year? In 5 years, will it move closer to your purpose or further away from it? This is not about perfection. It is about awareness. Awareness of where your attention is going. Awareness of what is influencing your mind. Awareness of what you are becoming through repeated focus. Because direction is not decided once. It is decided daily. Every time you choose to focus on what matters, you take a step forward. Every time you allow distraction to take control, you take a step away. And over time, those steps create distance. Distance between who you are and who you were meant to become. Comfort is seductive. It speaks softly, gently convincing you that rest is harmless, that delay is justified, that you deserve ease before effort. It does not force you, it persuades you. Take it easy today. Start tomorrow. You have done enough, and in the moment it feels right. There is no struggle, no resistance, no discomfort, just a temporary sense of relief, a quiet escape from effort. But beneath that comfort lies a hidden cost, one that does not appear immediately, but waits patiently in the future. Because every easy choice you make today is planting a seed. And that seed will grow, whether you like it or not. When you choose comfort over discipline, you are not simply avoiding effort. You are shaping your future into something weaker, smaller, and less than what it could have been. The pain you avoid today does not disappear. It transforms. It returns later as regret, as missed opportunities, as unrealized potential, as a deep, quiet feeling that you could have done more, become more, been more. There is something deeply unsettling about realizing that your biggest limitation was never your ability. It was your attachment to comfort. Because comfort feels safe, but it slowly disconnects you from purpose. It makes you passive when you were meant to be active. It makes you settle when you were meant to strive. It makes you forget the reason you started, and there is a spiritual weight to this. You were not created to live a life of constant ease. Ease does not build strength. Ease does not build character. Ease does not fulfill purpose. You were given challenges not to break you, but to shape you. You were given time not to waste, but to invest. And every moment you choose comfort over growth, you are turning away from that responsibility. Imagine looking back one day and realizing that the life you desired was always within reach, but you traded it away for temporary comfort, that the dreams placed in your heart were not too difficult, just too often postponed, that the discipline required was not impossible, just consistently avoided, that realization carries a weight that comfort can never erase, because regret is not loud, it does not shout. It sits quietly within you, reminding you of what could have been. The hardest truth to accept is this: the pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret can last a lifetime. Every time you choose what is easy, you move further away from what is meaningful. Every time you avoid effort, you weaken your ability to rise. Every time you delay action, you delay the life you were meant to live. Comfort will always be available. It will always invite you. It will always offer you an easier path. But that path leads somewhere, and that somewhere is not where your potential lies, not where your purpose is fulfilled, not where your strength is revealed, not where your life reaches its true meaning. There is a level of work that most people never reach, not because they are incapable, but because they are constantly interrupted. Their attention is divided, their focus is fragile, their effort is scattered, and scattered effort never creates extraordinary results. Deep work is different. It is the ability to sit with your task undistracted, fully present, and completely immersed. It is when your mind is no longer pulled in little triple directions, but locked into one purpose, one goal, one mission. In that state, something powerful happens. Your thoughts become sharper. Your ideas become clearer. Your actions become precise. You are no longer just working. You are creating. But deep work requires something rare, discipline over your attention. Because the world is designed to break your focus. Every notification, every message, every distraction is competing for your mind. And each time you allow it, your concentration weakens. Your progress resets. Your momentum disappears. That is why most people remain average, not because they lack ambition, but because they lack uninterrupted focus. They work, but not deeply. They try, but not consistently. They start, but rarely stay long enough to finish with excellence. Deep work demands that you stay. Stay when it becomes difficult. Stay when it becomes boring. Stay when your mind begins to wander. Because greatness is built in those moments. Moments where you resist distraction. Moments where you choose focus over comfort. Moments where you push beyond the urge to quit. There is also a deeper truth behind this. When you give your full attention to something meaningful, you honor the ability you've been given. You respect the time you've been entrusted with. You move with intention instead of impulse. Because focus is not just productivity. It is a form of discipline. And discipline is a form of responsibility. You cannot produce extraordinary results with ordinary effort. You cannot build something meaningful with a distracted mind. You cannot reach your potential while constantly dividing your attention. Deep work is where transformation happens. It is where skills are sharpened. It is where ideas turn into reality. It is where the gap between who you are and who you can become begins to close. But it comes at a cost. You must sacrifice. See distraction. You must eliminate noise. You must protect your time with intention. And most importantly, you must train your mind to stay focused, even when it resists. Because the ability to concentrate deeply is not something you are born with. It is something you build. And once you build it, you gain an advantage that very few people possess. While others are starting and stopping, you are progressing. While others are distracted, you are advancing. While others are overwhelmed, you are in control. And over time, that difference becomes visible. Small efforts turn into big results. Simple actions turn into mastery. Consistent focus turns into extraordinary achievement. Because in a world full of distraction, the one who can work deeply, rises above the rest. Discipline is not lost all at once. It fades. Slowly, quietly, each time you choose distraction over what you know you should do. At first, it feels small. A minor delay, a short escape, a harmless decision to step away from effort. You tell yourself it doesn't matter. You convince yourself you'll make up for it later. But something begins to change. Every time you give in to distraction, you are training your mind. You are teaching it that discomfort should be avoided, that effort can be postponed, that focus is optional, and the mind learns quickly. What was once a choice becomes a habit. What was once occasional becomes frequent. And what was once easy to control becomes difficult to resist. That is how discipline weakens, not through failure, but through repetition of small compromises. Because discipline is like a muscle. It strengthens when you use it, and it weakens when you neglect it. The more you choose distraction, the less control you have over your own attention. The less control you have, the easier it becomes to fall again. Until one day you realize something unsettling. You are no longer deciding your actions. Your impulses are deciding for you. There is a deeper weight to this. You are given the ability to choose, the ability to control your actions, the ability to direct your life. And every time you surrender to distraction, you are slowly giving that control away, not to another person, but to your own unchecked desires. That is where the real danger lies. Because a person without discipline is not free. They are controlled by comfort, by habit, by impulse. And the more control you lose, the further you drift from your purpose. Distraction makes it easier to ignore what matters. It makes it easier to delay what is important. It makes it easier to silence that inner voice telling you to rise, to act, to become more. But that voice does not disappear. It grows quieter, weaker, until you can barely hear it. And with it, your drive begins to fade. Your standards drop, your effort declines, your consistency breaks, not because you are incapable, but because you have trained yourself to choose ease over effort again and again. And the hardest part is this. The longer you stay in that cycle, the harder it becomes to break free, because your mind begins to expect distraction. It begins to resist focus. It begins to reject discipline. What once required effort to avoid distraction now requires effort to stay focused. That is the cost. You lose control over your own actions. You lose strength in your decisions. You lose alignment with the person you were meant to become. But the truth remains. Discipline can be rebuilt. Every time you resist distraction, even for a moment, you begin to take that control back. Every time you choose focus, you strengthen your mind again. Every time you act despite resistance, you remind yourself who is in charge. Not your impulses, not your habits. Not your habits, not your distractions. Your attention is your most powerful asset. More valuable than time, because it determines how your time is used. More powerful than opportunity, because it decides whether you recognize it or waste it. Where your attention goes, your life follows. This is not philosophy. It is reality. Every thought you entertain shapes your mindset. Every focus you repeat builds your habits. Every habit you form creates your future. So if your attention is uncontrolled, your life becomes uncontrolled. You begin to react instead of act. You follow impulses instead of purpose. You drift instead of directing your path. But the moment you take control of your attention, everything begins to change, because attention is the starting point of all creation. Before anything is built externally, it is focused on internally. Before any success becomes visible, it is formed in the unseen through concentration, intention, and repeated mental direction. That is why those who master their focus appear different. They are not easily pulled by distractions. They are not controlled by every notification, every trend, every passing urge. They decide where their mind goes, and because of that, they decide where their life goes. There is also a deeper responsibility tied to this. You have been given awareness, the ability to choose your thoughts, the ability to direct your attention toward what is meaningful. And that ability is not small. It is powerful, because every moment you are either investing your attention or wasting it. If you focus on what is empty, your life begins to feel empty. If you focus on what is negative, your life begins to reflect negativity. If you focus on growth, discipline, and purpose, your life begins to rise in that same direction. It is a law that cannot be escaped. Attention shapes identity. Identity shapes actions. Actions shape results. And results shape the life you live. Mastering your attention means refusing to let the world control your mind. It means protecting your focus from things that weaken you. It means choosing, again and again, what deserves your energy. Because not everything deserves your attention. Some things are distractions disguised as importance. Some things are noise disguised as opportunity. Some things are designed only to keep you occupied, not progressing. And if you do not guard your attention, you will give it away to things that do not deserve it. That is how people lose years of their lives, not through lack of effort, but through misplaced focus. But when you begin to control it, truly control it, you step into a different level of living. You become intentional. You become disciplined. You become aware of what you are doing, why you are doing it, and where it is leading you. And over time, that awareness becomes power. Because a focused mind is a directed mind, and a directed mind creates a directed life. This is how the future is shaped, not in one moment, but in every moment you choose where your attention will go. Each time you bring your focus back, you take control again. Each time you resist distraction, you strengthen your direction. Each time you choose purpose over impulse, you move closer to the life you were meant to live. Because mastering your focus is not just about productivity. It is about ownership of your thoughts, ownership of your actions, ownership of your actions, ownership of your destiny. Identity is not something you are given. It is something you build quietly, repeatedly, through the choices you make when no one is watching. Not the big decisions, not the rare moments of motivation, but the small daily choices that seem insignificant at the time. Those are the ones shaping you. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you are not just completing a task, you are becoming a different NTE person, a stronger one, a more disciplined one, a more aware version of yourself. And every time you choose distraction over focus, you are also becoming someone, just not the person you were meant to be. Because identity is formed through repetition. What you do once may not define you, but what you do consistently becomes you. If you repeatedly choose comfort, you become someone who avoids effort. If you repeatedly choose delay, you become someone who struggles to act. If you repeatedly choose distraction, you become someone who lacks control. But if you repeatedly choose focus, even in small moments, something powerful begins to happen. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to see that you can stay disciplined, that you can follow through, that you can act, even when it's difficult. And that self-trust becomes the foundation of a stronger identity. There is also a deeper dimension to this. You were not created without purpose. There is a version of you that you are capable of becoming stronger, wiser, more disciplined, more aligned with meaning. But that version is not reached by chance. It is reached through choice, and every moment presents you with one. A choice to focus or to drift, a choice to act or to delay, a choice to rise or to remain where you are. These choices may feel small, almost invisible, but they are being recorded within you. They shape your habits, they shape your mindset, they shape the way you see yourself. And over time, they shape your identity. One day, you wake up and realize you have become what you repeatedly chose. Not what you wished for, not what you planned for, but what your actions reflected. That realization can either bring pride or regret, because the truth is simple, but not easy to accept. You are always becoming someone. The question is, who? Are you becoming someone who controls their attention, or someone who is controlled by it? Are you becoming someone who follows through, or someone who constantly starts and stops? Are you becoming someone who moves with purpose, or someone who drifts without direction? Each moment of focus is a vote for the person you are building, and those votes add up. They create momentum. They create confidence. They create a version of you that is stronger than your past habits, because strength is not built in a single act. It is built in repeated decisions to do what is right, even when it is difficult. And every time you choose focus, you are proving something to yourself, that you are capable of more, that you are in control, that you are not defined by your distractions, but by your decisions. Guard your attention like it is your most valuable asset, because it is. The world will always try to pull you away from your purpose, but your strength will be measured by your ability to stay committed, stay focused when it's difficult, stay disciplined when it's boring, stay consistent when there's no immediate reward. Because in the end, the ones who win are not the most talented, they are the most focused.